Hare Krishna. Welcome back to the Mahabharata character series. We are discussing Arjuna and we are in the final stages of the Kurukshetra war. Now, Karna has become the commander on the 16th day and he heads into the army with vigor and anger. Now is the opportunity for him to show his prowess and he starts wreaking havoc on the Kaurava camp. And although on that 16th day, he counters Nakula and he defeats him, and there's a brief skirmish between him and Arjuna, but somehow, because other warriors come in, so there is no long head-on confrontation. And on the 16th evening, Arjuna is waiting, longing for that confrontation. And so is Karna. On the 16th evening and 17th morning, at the request of Karna, Duryodhana has Shalya appointed as Karna's charioteer. Karna feels that I need somebody as my charioteer who is equal to Krishna, who is acting as the charioteer of Arjuna. And then on the final day, the battle begins. This is the final day for the life of Karna. And on this day also Karna exhibits extraordinary heroism. Actually, on the 16th and 17th days, Karna defeats Nakula, he defeats Sahadev, he defeats Bhima, and on the 17th day, he defeats Yudhishthir. He wounds him severely, and after wounding them also, he doesn't kill any of them because he has given the word to Kunti that you will always have 5 sons. So I will not kill any of your other sons apart from Arjuna. So Yudhishthir is humiliated at being completely overpowered, defeated, and disgraced, and then released by Karna, and he just leaves the battlefield. And at that time, because he's so hurt not just physically but also in spirit. So then Krishna tells Arjuna, better you go and check how Yudhishthira is faring, and then you can come back and fight and kill Karna. And then Arjuna agrees, and then Arjuna goes and tells Bhima to take care of the war field while he goes. While Bhima agrees, he says, I'm also worried about Yudhishthira's condition. Now, here we discussed how there could have been a terrible disaster which Krishna ensured. It did not happen. But from Arjuna's point of view, why did Arjuna go? To simply concern for his elder brother. And he felt that this is duty to check his well-being, and he did that. And again we see contextual and categorical ethics. Arjuna thinks that if I have taken a word, anybody who tells me to put aside my Gandiva, that person will die. I will kill that person. So when Yudhishthira tells him, put aside his Gandiva, you are like a woman. You have left the battlefield without killing Karna. Alas, what misfortune that we don't have a warrior who is man enough to kill Karna. So he feels so angry and he's about to raise his weapons to kill Yudhishthir. And then Krishna checks him and he tells him, what stupidity are you doing? If at all you have to keep up your word, keep it in some other way. He says, speak harsh words, and those harsh words will be like killing. And that's what Arjuna does. And Arjuna vents out his anger at Yudhishthira, saying, what kind of person you are, that you gamble your own wife, and you made everybody whom you love poverty stricken just because of your greed for gambling. And he speaks all sort of thing. And then finally Arjuna falls down and begs forgiveness from Yudhishthira. Please forgive me, this was my vow, and because of that I had to speak this. So here we see again Arjuna, he's a man of principles. At the same time, he does not let his principles blind his intelligence. The principles are ultimately meant to help us live a life of virtue. And if sometimes blind adherence to principles may make us actually go away from virtue. So he is guided by Krishna. What he keeps his word, in principle, but not in spirit, but not in letter. And I won't go into that incident because we already discussed it. Essentially, speaking harsh words is like killing an enemy or killing a person. And Arjuna's vow had been that he would kill anyone who asked him to put aside Gandiva. So Arjuna speaks harsh words against Yudhishthir. But then he makes up and then he tells Yudhishthir, please just bless me and I will go back and kill Karna. And then Krishna gets on Arjuna's chariot, Arjuna follows, and Krishna takes the chariot charging back. And as Krishna is entering into the battlefield with Arjuna as a warrior in the chariot, they see that Karna has released the Bhargavastra. And it's wreaked havoc. Thousands and thousands of Pandava warriors are being killed. And Bhima is hemmed in by Kaurava warriors from all his sides. He's fighting single-handedly, fiercely and fearlessly. But in Arjuna's absence, the Pandavas are getting the worst. Pandava forces are getting the worst of the fight. And with Yudhishthira also not there, the morale has also hit a low. So Arjuna charges into the battlefield and comes to Bhima's aid. And Bhima is worked himself in rage. And Bhima, this is the 17th day. Bhima, Dushasan, in an arrow fight, he bests Bhima and wounds him severely. And this angers Bhima. And putting aside his bow and arrow, Bhima just charges with his mace towards Dushasan. And all Dushasan is shooting arrows at Bhima, just by whirling his arrow, mace just knocks away the arrows and then hits Dushasan on the head. And then that blow throws him off his chariot, and Bhima fiercely, almost in a monstrous way, kills Dushasan. We discussed this when Bhima spoke this. So then what happened is Karna was horrified, and seeing Karna's horror, his son Vrishasen came to fight against Bhima, and Bhima told Arjuna, I can kill with this one, but you should take care of him because you have decided to, because you have taken a vow to kill Karna, so you kill his son also. And Vrishasen fights with Arjuna, and Arjuna fights seriously, and within a short time, right in front of Karna's eyes, Arjuna kills Vrishasen. Karna is infuriated, and he challenges Arjuna for fight. And as both these warriors march closer and closer to each other, now the time for the momentous battle has come. That morning Karna has told Duryodhana that today I will either kill Arjuna or Arjuna will kill me. Without either of these results coming, I will not come back from the battlefield. Duryodhana has been cheered because he's always had the confidence that Karna will be able to kill Arjuna. And as they come forward face to face to fight with each other, everybody is worked up into anger. So although Shalya has earlier discouraged Karna, now Shalya will discuss about that when we talk about Karna. But here now Shalya also supports Karna. This is the final fight, and Shalya casts an angry glance at Krishna. Krishna casts an angry glance. Everybody is worked up to feverish pitch for the fight. And suddenly on Arjuna's chariot there is Hanuman. Hanuman, he has been a heroic fighter, one of the central fighters in the Ramayana war. And he knows that by the Lord has different plans for his different devotees at different times. So in this particular war, the Lord doesn't want Hanuman to fight on his behalf. He wants his other devotees to fight and get the credit. But somehow as the fight is reaching its highest pitch, even Hanuman is not able to resist himself. And Hanuman just leaps off the chariot. Now Hanuman has always been there, and he himself looks so angry, so ferocious. And he screeches and screams and roars and grunts in anger that causes terror in the hearts of the enemy. That way he is helping the cause of the Pandavas. But this is the only time in the war when he springs into action. And when he springs into action, he just jumps off from Arjuna's chariot and lands right on Karna's chariot. And Karna's chariot has the standard of elephant rope, which is jeweled on and which is shaped like Yamaraj's noose. So the idea is that Karna is like a warrior who is like Yamaraj. And Karna's arrows will be like Yamaraj's noose and they will kill the enemy. So that's what is symbolized. So now that Yamaraj noose was not going to fall on anyone except Karna himself. So Hanuman symbolized, in order to symbolic gesture of that, he just bit and chewed and ripped apart that standard. And the standard, which is the pride of the Kshatriya warrior, it just broke apart and fell. And before Karna could do anything, Hanuman leapt back and came back on Arjuna's chariot. And then Karna turned to Shalya and he said, "Oh Shalya, tell me truthfully, what will you do if today Arjuna kills me?" Shalya replied gravely that, "I will march upon Dhananjay and Keshava and I will fight to my fullest capacity and I will lay down my life. What more glorious destination can be there for a Kshatriya than to die on a battlefield?" Karna nodded gravely, appreciatively. And on the other side, Arjuna asked the same question to Krishna. And Krishna replied, "Rest assured, O Arjuna." Krishna's voice was enraged. He said, "The sun may grow cold, the rivers may dry up, the sky may fall down, the earth may shatter apart, but Karna will not be able to kill you. And if somehow that happens, then know that the world's destruction is at hand." He said, "Karna, Shalya and all the Kaurava warriors will be immediately destroyed by me." So, this is Krishna's love for his devotee, and he is ready to do anything and everything for protecting his devotee. So, Arjuna feels jubilant. He says, "Yes, I also know, Krishna, that by your grace, I will be able to kill Arjuna, kill Karna. And today he is no match for me. Just as an elephant can kill a small animal, today I'll be able to kill him." Now, before this confrontation has come off, now both of them have come head on, as Arjuna and Krishna were approaching the battlefield, and they saw the power of Karna being demonstrated on the battlefield in the form of the devastation caused by the Bhargavastra, Arjuna became pensive. How Karna is such a formidable warrior, how will I be able to kill him? And here Krishna makes a set of enigmatic statements. One of those statements, he says, "O Partha, I think that Karna is equal to you, if not better than you, in warfare, in archery." Now, why would Krishna make a statement like this? If we look at the testimony of the results, we have seen how the Arjuna-Krishna score is 3-0. Now, we discussed that Arjuna has defeated Drupada, who had defeated Karna. Arjuna has defeated the Gandharvas, who had defeated Karna. And Arjuna has defeated Karna directly at the time of the Virat Yuddha. And again, Arjuna had also not exactly defeated, but Karna had not been able to hold Arjuna back when Arjuna reached the target of killing Jayadratha. So either way, at least 3 times, Arjuna has defeated Karna. So why is Krishna telling Arjuna that that I think Karna is equal to, if not better than you? So actually, if you look at the full context of the speech, now Krishna is acting like a competent counselor. He's a charioteer, but he's also a counselor. And first he cautions Arjuna, then he incites Arjuna, and then he inspires Arjuna. So first he cautions, Karna is a formidable warrior, don't take him lightly. And in that context, Krishna makes the statement that he's equal to, if not slightly better than you. But then he incites him. But still you should remember all the wrongs that he has done. How he suggested that Draupadi be disrobed, how he laughed at you when when all of you were being dishonored, dispossessed and disgraced in the Kaurava assembly, how it was he who suggested that Draupadi be disrobed, how it was he who called Draupadi a harlot, So by speaking, and then he also like how it was he who was a part of the killing of Abhimanyu, all the atrocities that they had been subjected to, of which Karna was a part. And through all this, Krishna incites Arjuna. Therefore, I feel, O Partha, today you should kill him. And remember how all the great warriors who had been thought invincible have already fallen. Bhishma, Drona, Bhagadatta, they've all fallen. And similarly, Karna will also fall. And you, O Partha, have taken a vow to kill him. So today is the time for you to fulfill his vow. Use the weapons, all the celestial weapons that you have. Use the austerity and the merits that you have acquired from your austerities and kill Karna. So, if Krishna had felt that Arjuna was not, that Karna was better than Arjuna, then how would Krishna have concluded by saying that Arjuna should kill Karna? Normally, if the other opponent is better, then how can you expect a lower person to be able to kill the opponent? So Krishna sometimes speaks whatever is required for the right result to come up. So Krishna cautions on many occasions. Now earlier also when Arjuna had taken the vow to kill Jayadratha by next day's sunset, on the 13th night Krishna told Arjuna, you have taken a rash vow without consulting me. Now it will be almost impossible for you to penetrate through the whole Kaurava army which Drona will arrange to block you. So again, what is Krishna doing over here? He's expressing his anxiety at one level, but another level he's cautioning Arjuna. So same way, this is a statement of cautioning. Because ultimately, when you have two archers, how do you decide who is better or not? We have to look at the results. And the testimony of the results is clear enough. So now Arjuna is worked up to the full pitch of war, and the two warriors start fighting. They fight fiercely, shooting arrow after arrow after arrow, and neither of them gets the upper hand. And initially, Duryodhana decides to send other warriors. Him, Ashwathama, Ashwasthama himself, and other warriors come in order to distract Arjuna and to tire him, so that Karna will be able to kill him. But Arjuna counters all of them, and then eventually it's just a face-off left between Arjuna and Karna. And as they match arrow for arrow for arrow, then Arjuna decides to use a celestial weapon. He takes up a shining dart from his bow, and as he puts it on his bow and discharges it, the whole sky seems to light up. And the Pandavas and the Kauravas are stunned to see this bow. Karna smiles, and he uses another celestial weapon, and he counters it completely. Arjuna applauds Karna, and he takes another celestial weapon. And Karna counters it. Arjuna uses the Indrastra, and Karna counters it using the Bhargavastra. And the Bhargavastra, not only Arjuna's one arrow has expanded into hundreds, but Karna's one arrow, Bhargavastra, expands only into hundreds and thousands. And not only does it counter all of Arjuna's weapons completely, but it goes further and starts killing hundreds and hundreds of Pandava soldiers and warriors. Seeing this, Bhima becomes enraged. He says, "O Partha, how have you allowed this wretch to cause such destruction of your army in your presence? In the past, you have fought so fiercely that even the gods together have not been able to resist you. Do not be gentle with this wicked Suta. Remember that he was the part of the death of Abhimanyu. Remember that it was he who caused the disrobing of Draupadi. Remember that it was he who called Draupadi a prostitute. Remember it all and kill him now." Krishna also spoke to Arjuna. "I have not seen your weapons fall harmlessly like this. Arjuna, use your best weapons. If you are lacking in weapons, invoke the power that use yuga after yuga to kill the demons." Here Krishna is reminding Arjuna that you are the great warrior Nara. They are Nara and Narayan. And they come again and again to kill the enemies. And he says, if those weapons are also not enough, I will give you my Sudarshan Chakra. Use that chakra and cut off the head of Karna. Goaded by these words of both Bhima and Krishna, Arjuna gets even more angry, and he starts using all his best arrows to attack Karna. And slowly but surely, as they are the fighting goes on and on. And Arjuna uses the Brahmastra. And the Brahmastra does on the Kaurava side what Karna's Bhargavastra had done. So it not only overpowers Karna but also wreaks havoc in the Kaurava camp. And as the Brahmastra is destroying the Kaurava army, at that time, Yudhishthira returns back. His wounds have been treated and healed by herbs and mantras, and he comes wearing his crown, restored to his regal glory. And seeing him, the Pandava soldiers cheer, and then he also stands by to watch this fight. Now, practically, the whole army in one sense stopped, and everybody is watching this war. This is the battle for which everybody has been preparing. The whole Mahabharata is building up towards it. And then, as Arjuna keeps shooting arrow after arrow, Karna keeps countering all those arrows. And slowly but surely, sometimes it appears as if Karna is getting the upper hand, sometimes it appears as if Arjuna is getting the upper hand. No one seems to be getting any decisive upper hand. And finally, Karna decides that by the sheer force of arms, he will not be able to overcome Arjuna. So he thinks a strategy. He says, I will use my weapons. A sudden surge of weapons. By sudden surge of weapons, I will break Arjuna's bow, and then I will stun him. And then I will invoke a celestial astra. And before Arjuna, because Arjuna is now, his bow is broken, his bow will be broken, and he will be stunned. He will not be able to counter him. By the celestial astra, I will kill him. And he just works that plan to a T perfectly, and he breaks Arjuna's bow, and he stuns Arjuna by sudden fierce attack. And then, as thinking, he remembers the Nagastra. In fact, the thought of Nagastra just pops into his mind, and then as he turns in his quiver, the Nagastra seems to leap into his hand. The heat of the moment is such that Karna doesn't think of this as strange in any way. But actually what has happened, Ashwasena is Naga who has enmity towards Arjuna, because Arjuna had killed his mother when Arjuna had burned the Khandava forest. So he wants to take revenge. Now, of course, Arjuna had burned the wicked beings who lived in that forest at that time, and one of them was this Ashwasen's mother. So now Ashwasen is thinking of revenge. So he, by his mystic powers, he invokes the thought of the Nagastra in Karna's mind, and then he enters into Nagastra. And then as the Nagastra is invoked, so that's why the Nagastra seems to jump into Karna's hand. And Karna shoots the Nagastra. And it just seems to set the whole sky on fire and charges towards Arjuna. And as it is charging, Krishna sees the danger. And as the astra is charging towards Arjuna, now Shalya tells Karna that as he is about to shoot Nagastra, he should shoot it at Arjuna's chest. Because if you shoot at the chest, then even if you are slightly off target, above that is the neck, there also it will be fatal. And below is the stomach, there also it will be fatal. So, but Arjuna, Karna, because of his past differences with Shalya, and because he wants to sort of majestically cut off the head of Arjuna, so he says, I will shoot at the neck, and he targets the neck. And Krishna at the last moment, as the arrow just whizzing past him to Arjuna's head, he just bangs his chariot on his feet on the ground. And as he bangs the feet on the ground, on the side of the chariot, the whole chariot sinks into the ground because of the sheer force of his weight. And then as the chariot sinks into the ground, Arjuna, who was at this height, say, the chariot sinks into the ground, Arjuna goes at this height. And that's why the same arrow, which is meant to hit his head, which is meant to hit his neck, now it goes down and it just knocks off his crown. And his crown just completely falls off. The jewels and everything get scattered. Now, this itself was a victory to knock off the enemy's crown, but Karna had been expecting much better. And Krishna immediately explains to Arjuna what has happened. Arjuna thanks Krishna that the Devatas have assembled in the sky. Above Karna is Surya, and above Arjuna is Indra, and they are both blessing their respective sons. They are watching. So the gods cheer Krishna, saying that Krishna has saved Arjuna from certain death. Arjuna immediately takes a cloth and ties his loose hair and starts fighting. And as he shoots arrow after arrow, Karna is countering. Now at this particular point, Krishna's chariot has gone under the ground. And although his chariot has gone under the ground, Karna doesn't stop fighting. Karna keeps attacking. Although in one sense it's against the Kshatriya codes. If the other is immobilized, then the Kshatriya should not attack. But Karna continues to attack. And Krishna and Arjuna don't complain. Krishna immediately gets off the chariot and uses his full strength and brings the chariot out of the ground. And immediately is ready to fight. So now, as the fight goes on, again Ashwasen comes and tells Karna, I am here with you, and I will. He tells it was I there in the weapon, and I also have an enmity with Arjuna. Just put me on your arrow, and I will kill him. So Karna looks at him and he shakes his head. He said, I will never depend on anybody else's strength to kill my enemy, and I will not use the same weapon again. Go wherever you like. So Ashwasen decides to take on the form of an arrow and himself attack Arjuna. But this time Arjuna is prepared, and he uses 6 sharp arrows to cut Ashwasen to pieces. And then Arjuna builds up his attack on Karna, and slowly but surely Karna starts getting overpowered. Arjuna's attack is so fierce that Karna's armor gets destroyed, Karna's headdress gets destroyed, his helmet gets destroyed. And as Karna is stupefied, overwhelmed, practically his bow is also knocked off, and his bowstring is broken. So Arjuna lowers his weapon according to Kshatriya codes. So Krishna tells Arjuna, why are you making such a mistake? Now an enemy who is wicked and cruel should be killed in whatever way possible. Virtue is gained by this, by killing a vicious enemy. If you let Karna recover from the situation, then you will it will be difficult to overcome him again. Shoot immediately. Thus goaded, Arjuna starts shooting arrows further and further. They thud into the body of Karna, and Karna becomes more and more wounded. As Karna remembers, Karna is becoming desperate. He knows that he needs some time to recover. So he decides to invoke the Bhargavastra. That Bhargavastra will check Arjuna for some time, and then that will give him the time to recover from his wounds, to restrap a new armor, and to regain his senses for clarity for fighting again. But as he starts chanting, remembering the mantras for the Bhargavastra, he finds that he cannot recollect the mantras. He remembers the curse of Parshuram, because of which he has forgotten his most powerful weapon. And he starts cursing destiny. As he's cursing, at that moment he sees on his chariot a dark looking person. This is a Kala Purusha. And he says, see, your chariot is sinking into the ground. And Karna he remembers the Brahmin had cursed him that this will happen. And he's cursing destiny, cursing virtue. He said, I've always served virtue, but why is virtue deserting me now? And as he's cursing virtue, Arjuna keeps attacking. And Karna, feeling riled by the apparent unfairness of it all, he uses his full strength, and by sheer force of his attack, he checks Arjuna. And as he checks Arjuna, he breaks Arjuna's bowstring. With lightning speed, Arjuna ties another string and again fights. Karna again breaks the string. Arjuna again tries the string. Karna repeats this 12 times. And Karna breaks Arjuna's string 12 times, and Arjuna reties it. Karna is amazed, as are all the gods and all the warriors, to see the lightness and swiftness of Arjuna's hand. And as the battle goes on and on, now Karna is just that he doesn't remember his most powerful weapon, the Bhargavastra. But he remembers another, so he takes a less powerful astra, Agneastra, and he shoots that. And Arjuna counters it with the Varunastra. And then, as he's fighting in this way, the chariot is sunk onto the ground. Karna and Arjuna are fighting. But then Karna tells Arjuna, because Karna is now becoming immobilized, "Oh Arjuna, do not entertain thoughts that are cherished by cowards. Wait for me so that I am properly positioned to fight. So remember the codes of virtue of Kshatriya." So Arjuna lowers his bow again. And then Krishna says, "Oh Karna, it is fortunate indeed that today you remember the codes of virtue. Was it the codes of virtue by which you along with 5 other Maharathas killed the 16-year-old Abhimanyu? Was it the codes of virtue by which you tried to burn the Pandavas in Varanavarta? Was it virtue by which you cheated Yudhishthira of his wealth in the gambling match? Was it virtue by which you called Draupadi a prostitute? Was it virtue that suggested that Draupadi be disrobed? If it was virtue at that time, today by that same virtue, Arjuna will kill you." And Karna's head drops in dismay. He knows the truth of Krishna's words. And Arjuna keeps shooting. Karna, in despair, uses all the weapons that he has to counter. And finally he takes a celestial weapon. And as he takes the celestial weapon on his bow, and suddenly dark winds start blowing through the sky. And all the inauspicious signs are seen everywhere. The Pandavas become panicky. And as Karna shoots that arrow from his bow, it speeds and hits Arjuna with the force of a thunderbolt. And despite Arjuna's impenetrable armor, Arjuna is completely jolted. And Arjuna almost swoons. And Karna, getting this relief, jumps off his chariot. And he uses his huge strength to try to lift up the chariot. But although he tries to lift up his chariot, the whole earth seems to getting lifted up because of the force of his arms, but the chariot wheel doesn't move. And Karna is beside himself with grief and anger. Although Arjuna has been severely wounded, he immediately recovers. The battle has become so bloody that both Karna and Arjuna are wounded. Both Shalya and Krishna are wounded. But Arjuna recovers. And then Krishna tells Arjuna, "Now this is the opportunity. Kill him." So now Karna has himself earlier killed Abhimanyu when he was charioteerless. The Kauravas had themselves attacked Arjuna when he was charioteerless on the 14th day when he was trying to reach towards Jayadratha. And Karna has himself attacked Arjuna earlier when Arjuna's chariot had become motionless because it had gone under the ground after Krishna had pushed it down. So what Karna had done to what the Kauravas had done, now the Kauravas are being paid back in coin. And Arjuna takes the Anjalika Astra, an Anjalika bow, and he imbues it with the power of Indra's Vajra. And he aims it and he shoots. And as it whizzes through the air, spreading fire on all its direction, it went and hits into Karna's head. And it rips off Karna's head, and Karna's head flies off and his huge body falls to the ground. And in this way, Arjuna wins his greatest victory. And as the Pandavas erupt in joy and cheer, Bhima dances and the Kauravas cry in agony. Arjuna has won his greatest victory, and the Kauravas' greatest hope has been shattered. The battle is as good as over. And Krishna and Arjuna embrace each other. Krishna praises Arjuna and Arjuna thanks Krishna. And the union, the team of the Lord and the devotee have been victorious. What happened next class we will discuss in the 18th day and thereafter. We'll discuss in our next session. Thank you. Hare Krishna.